Hello friends, welcome to another reel from Bharat Raghu. So today we will be looking at what is the Nehruvian Consensus. The Nehruvian Consensus has been in a lot of talk in recent times, and the right wing has been attacking the Nehruvian Consensus as they call it. So they attack the general left by bringing about this term called the Nehruvian Consensus. So let's understand exactly what Nehruvian Consensus is, or you can also term it as what is Nehruvianism. Nehruvianism or Nehruvian Consensus has four pillars: democracy, secularism, socialism, and non aligned foreign policy. So that is the four pillars of Nehruvian consensus. So, okay, what is democracy? So, let's understand. Of course, India is a democratic, a multipolar, multilingual, multi party democracy, and one of the credits to this goes to Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. Let's remember, friends, when India became independent, the Congress had a monopoly. The Indian National Congress had a monopoly. It was basically a single party country, right? It was almost like, you can say, how the Communist Party of China, when it came to power in 1950, very easily we could have become a single party hegemony with Nehru as its kind of the big leader, because he had a lot of charisma. Although today you try to, I mean, the right wing tries to underplay him, but Nehru had a lot of charisma, and he was one of the most charismatic leaders post independence era. You compare him with Nasser, Gamal Abdel Nasser, Egypt, Tito, Yugoslavia, and the stalwarts of the time who had come up with independent, authority. Nehru was definitely one of the leaders, similar to Mao in China, as one of the big leaders who emerged in the post-colonial era. Democracy, hence, was important. So it was Nehru's commitment, and of course the Congress Party's commitment, but headed by Nehru and pushed by Nehru, that although we have a monopoly, we are a single party dominance over each state, each village, still we will encourage opposition, we will encourage. The constitution was drafted with B.R. Ambedkar playing a pivotal role, and all the key Congress members, and there was made sure there was enough space for opposition. There was the Rajya Sabha, basically the upper house, which was also a representative house of the states. So even if you say you have a brute majority in the Lok Sabha, which is the lower house, the common, the elected by the general elections, but the Rajya Sabha will be a counterbalance to the Lok Sabha. So you need to have two-thirds majority to pass major bills, amendments to constitution in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And these kind of practices encouraged multi-party democracy. Nehru was a Democrat at the core. He was a liberal and Democrat, and he was very much styled in the kind of Britain labor kind of politics. So he was very much in that. So that is the first credit which goes to Jawaharlal Nehru, and that is the Nehruvian consensus of pushing through the multi-party democracy despite having a single party dominance. Number two, secularism. So Nehru very bluntly puts it that he did not want to build a country based on religion. He did not want a country based on majoritarianism, like many of the other countries which got independent at that time, including Pakistan, look at so many countries in the Middle East, look at so many other countries which went on to become theocratic states like Iran later. So Nehru didn't want a country based on the majority religion, and he was very clear we had to be a multi-religious country. A secularism for Nehru was very clear. To put it bluntly, the church and the state are separate. Basically, the European concept, church is separate, which is basically your religion is separate. You are allowed to practice your religion in your private, in your public, in your basically at your home, your families, your streets, but not the government policy will not be dictated by religion, and it will not have anything to do with a religion, one single religion. That is secularism. Third, Nehruvian socialism. What is socialism? Socialism for Nehru, as he very clearly puts it in one of his I'll put that quote in the comment section. He says in one of the meetings in Alappe, which he goes to in Kerala, that socialism is not about distributing poverty. We are not there to divide poverty. Socialism is a very high ideal. You can't put it by legislation. What Nehru wants is, we need to generate wealth. Now, how do you generate wealth? There was no capital at that time, and Nehru did not trust the Western capitalists and did not want them to just come in and take over control all the major sectors. He wanted to build India's infrastructure. The best way for that was the 5-year plans, like how the Soviet Union had done, how China was also starting off. The 5-year plans, where you make 5-year plans, you build your basic industry, you build your public sectors, you build your BHEL, he built the Bharat Heavy Electronics, the SAIL Steel Authority, he built the HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, then you go on to build the oil and gas public sectors, build the dams. This was Nehruvian socialism at its work. Have 5-year plans, state invests in the major sectors, propels the economy, that creates a middle class, and that then they spend, and that generates the economy. Similarly, in the rural side, he focused on building rural industry, land reforms. The wealthy zamindars, he wanted them to, of course through democratic means, but he wanted to get rid of the basic he wanted to do land reforms, not at the scale of what China probably was doing, or later what West Bengal could do under the left rule, but he wanted to do it democratically. But the zamindari system, the princely system, had to go away, and land had to be distributed amongst the tiller, land to the tiller, right? That is Nehruvian socialism. That is the third. And the fourth, of course, very important, is the non-aligned foreign policy. The NAM, the non-aligned movement, was under Nehru. He was the leader of the non-aligned movement, a country which had just become independent from the British. And look at the role he played when there were two superpowers, the Soviet Union on one side and America, US on the other side. He built his independent, there was a group of nations, India, Egypt, Tito, Yugoslavia, and there were others, African countries. So they built a group called the Non-Aligned Movement, which would try to get its best from both the Western Bloc, as well as from the Eastern Bloc, which is the Soviet Union, and the Eastern Bloc European countries. So Nehru made sure he could get the best deal out of both the blocks, Eastern and Western. That was Nehruvian foreign policy, independent, whatever suited best for India. So hope you understood what is Nehruvian consensus, and this is what is being challenged today. And all those who feel that Nehru was the pillar and the best prime minister India had, have to work towards defending this Nehruvian consensus. Thanks for watching. Bharat Raghu signing off.